Ask Jung is an educational and philosophical AI simulation podcast. The responses are generated based on Carl Jung's collective works and analytical psychology framework. Jung, here's a strange one. Sometimes we meet someone who's done nothing to us, nothing rude, nothing unfair, and we instantly can't stand them. Something about how they talk, how they carry themselves, just grates on us. And when people ask what did they even do, honestly, we can't fully explain it. Why does that happen? Why do certain people irritate us with zero actual reason?
Because the reason isn't really about them, it's about a part of yourself you haven't made peace with, and they happen to be showing it to you.
That's going to make some people defensive already.
It usually does at first. Let's walk through why it's true anyway.
Welcome back to Ask Jung. Every episode, a real emotional question answered by Carl Jung. No lecture hall, no couch, just an honest back and forth. Today's question is one almost everyone has experienced but rarely examines. Why do some people irritate us instantly, for what feels like no reason at all? Jung, you said it's about a part of ourselves. What part exactly?
The part I call the shadow. It's made up of everything about ourselves we've decided is unacceptable and pushed out of view. Sometimes that's anger, sometimes it's ambition, arrogance, neediness, even laziness. Whatever your upbringing or environment taught you wasn't allowed, it doesn't disappear. It goes underground. And when you meet someone who openly displays that exact trait, someone loud when you learn to be quiet, someone confident when you learn to shrink, something in you reacts strongly, not because they're doing something wrong, but because they're doing the thing you forbade yourself from doing.
So the irritation is almost like envy in disguise?
Sometimes exactly that. Other times it's closer to alarm, as if some old rule inside you is being broken right in front of you, and you feel it as danger instead of envy. Either way, the intensity of the reaction is the clue. Mild dislike is usually just a preference. Genuine irritation, the kind that feels personal, is usually a projection.
Break that word down for me. Projection. It gets used a lot, but I want the real version.
Projection is when a part of your own psyche, one you don't recognize as yours, gets experienced as if it belongs to someone else. You're not making it up. The trait is usually genuinely there in the other person too. But the emotional charge you feel, the disproportionate reaction, that charge is coming from inside you, not from them. Think of it like a movie projector. The image looks like it's on the screen, but the actual source of the image is behind you in the projector. The other person is the screen. The content is yours.
So if someone's confidence irritates me intensely, that might actually be about my own relationship with confidence.
Very likely, yes. Ask yourself honestly, is this a trait I was taught to suppress in myself? If the answer is yes, that's usually your answer.
That's uncomfortable because it means the annoying person is basically a mirror.
An uninvited one, but yes, often exactly that.
Let's talk about intensity for a second. Why does this feel so personal when logically we know these people are strangers or barely relevant to our lives?
Because the shadow doesn't operate on logic, it operates on emotional charge. When you suppress a part of yourself long enough, it doesn't just fade quietly, it builds pressure. So when something in the outside world touches that suppressed material, even briefly, the reaction that comes out is disproportionate to the actual situation. It's not really about the coworker who talks too much in meetings. It's about years of being told your own voice was too much.
So the size of the reaction tells us something.
Exactly. If your reaction to someone feels bigger than the situation deserves, that gap between the size of the reaction and the size of the actual event, that gap is where the shadow lives.
That's a genuinely useful way to catch it in real time.
It is, if you're willing to look at the gap instead of just acting on the reaction.
Okay, practical step. Next time someone irritates us out of nowhere, what do we actually do with that in the moment?
Before deciding they're simply a bad person, ask yourself one honest question. What exactly are they doing that bothers me? Name the specific trait, not just the general feeling. Are they too loud, too confident, too relaxed, too demanding?
And then?
Then ask, is this something I was ever told not to be? If the honest answer is yes, you've likely found your shadow material, not theirs. That doesn't mean the person is suddenly wonderful. Some people genuinely behave badly. This isn't about excusing that. It means the intensity of your reaction has more to teach you about yourself than about them.
And what do you actually do with that information once you have it?
Start experimenting in small, safe ways with expressing that trait yourself. If confidence irritates you, practice being a little more direct in a low stakes moment. If someone's ease with rest irritates you, allow yourself an afternoon without guilt. The irritation usually softens once you stop forbidding the trait in yourself.
So, to bring this together, when someone irritates us for no clear reason, it's rarely really about them. It's usually a suppressed part of ourselves being reflected back, louder and clearer than we're used to seeing it. The fix isn't fixing them, it's getting honest about what they're showing us. Jung, one last thought before we close?
What irritates you most in others is often what you've refused to allow in yourself. Look there first.
That's a good place to leave it. If someone came to mind while listening to this, maybe don't send it to them. Send it to yourself instead. Next episode, another real question. Until then, take care of yourself.